Oh, and Dan here from Games, Brains and Headbanging Life, gbhblofficial.com for sure, and it's Bloodstock reaction time as we're looking at one of the bands that got added quite late to the bill due to circumstances surrounding the craziness that is this year. It was a band added that we were both really, really happy with because for some reason, I'm going to go back a bit, Dan seemed to think that I'd never heard of Loathe, even though I'd heard of Loathe before he had heard of Loathe, because I reviewed that debut album. Not
Cold
the debut,
Sun?
No, not the debut album. My apologies. The I Let It In and It Took Everything album.
I knew them when I Let It In came out. Ooh.
Yeah, and I'm saying I did as well.
I didn't say that you didn't know them either. What?
Yeah, we had this dispute. We had this dispute about Loathe because I remember. We'll go back a few months now. Anyways, beside the point, because we're both big fans of this band.
Yeah, definitely.
I think they're a great addition to the festival. I think they're going to absolutely smash it when they're on the main stage as well. So it's a real good opportunity for them to really, really bring quite a lot of their energy. It should be really exciting. The Friday, they're in between Acid Rain and Venom Prison, so they're amongst the heavy as well. I'm so I don't need to watch this video to be convinced. There's no convincing me here. It's okay. I'm game. But we are going to be checking out Gored, which is from the album I Let It In, and It Took Everything, which is a phenomenal album. Go check it out. If you want to know more, read the review over on the site. So, well, I've just talked. Have you got anything to add about Loathe?
I love them. They're great. I listened to It Took Everything on vinyl. That was the last one I bought, actually. Okay. I had to calm down on buying them because I had zero funds. But yeah, I Let It In. It was one of my favorite albums of 2020. It was released just before the COVID pandemic. So it was kind of my soundtrack for that first lockdown. So I've got some memories of it, but I'm going to check them out regardless.
Yeah, I think it will take a lot to not be there, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Just going to check. I want to sort of remind myself of what... I'm pretty sure I gave it 9 out of 10 on the website, but let me just check I did. I gave it 8 out of 10. Okay, still super high.
For you.
Right. Huh?
For you, yeah.
8 out of 10 is super high, dude. People get weird about ratings and stuff like that. And they're like, oh my God, you only gave a band 7 out of 10. It's like, yeah, that's leaning towards, that's on the great end. I get given a band 2 out of 10 and then you could be like, oh my God, but 7 out of 10,
Let's just do the thing.
Yes. All right, Gored in 1. I'm going to count up instead. 1, 2, 3. No, 3, 2, 1, go. Some noise in my ears. Could be a good song to start with, right? Like this is the opener of the set. Could be a good one.
They do play it live and they have a really cool bit where they do it. They do something different live and it's just really good.
I mean, this build up on the stage, this is I'm feeling it. I'm picturing it now. Correct me if I'm wrong, they're from Liverpool, aren't they?
Don't know.
Yes, they're from Liverpool, I was right. A mix of drumming there and that choppy guitar rhythm is class. So like for me, one of the most impressive things about that track, and it's something that I constantly feel during it, is that this is like they have so much energy, but it's not an energetic song. It is not a fast song. It's methodically paced. It's very, very heavy in that regards. And that's really interesting because you're listening to the instruments and you're thinking, and you listen to the vocals and you're thinking, goodness me, you're clearly like you're giving it your all. There's a ton of passion and energy behind what you're doing, but that isn't reflected in the track in the same way. It's not hyperactive fast. And I love that because it's a really intriguing contrast that kind of fucks with your brain. I also love the fact that, particularly at the end, shit, that leads into Doom territories of just that slow boom, boom, you know?
Yeah.
That's quite unusual. And to do all of that across a 3+ minute song, it's very unique. It's very, very clever. It's got all the elements you might like, you know. You can draw, you know, if you're into a more modern style of metal, you can draw it into that. But I also don't think, like, if you're like into an old school heavy metal kind of thing, you can't, that you listen to a track like that and you're not at least intrigued to maybe go on and listen to more of what Loathe are doing, you know?
Yeah, definitely. I find something really interesting about the song. It was recorded using equipment from the 70s, so they could get a very specific sound for it.
That makes so much fucking sense. Yeah, I've listened to albums that bands have done that using lo-fi equipment and stuff like that to get a specific. Normally you find that bands do that are rock bands, and they're doing it to try and capture, say, a kind of dive bar, punk rock dive bar experience. We've got that lo-fi sound and like fuzz in the instruments and things like that. So to hear it used in this is really interesting, but it makes sense because there is a rawness to what's going on there.
Definitely. I think it's the weirdest word I've used to describe any song, but their sound is grotesque in that you've got this certain freneticity, but there's like a kind of, there's a rhythm to it.
I've never seen them live, and I can't. I imagine that. Let's say I was watching them and they were playing for half an hour at Bloodstock. I'd imagine by the end of that half an hour, without really doing much on the stage, let's say they're pretty standing still and they don't move around that much and stuff like that. But by the end of that set, that they will be drenched in sweat and be looking absolutely exhausted through the sheer exertion of what they're doing. You know?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Anything else?
One of those bands. The song is great. They're great. Everyone check out their album.
Anything else to add then?
Not really, no.
No, it's Loathe. They're on the main stage on the Friday. Make sure you check them out. We will be. And let us know what you think in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. You can check us out on gbhbl.com as well as on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and Tumblr. Go to Patreon and help us out over there. That's patreon.com/gbhbl, as well as Big Cartel, where you can find some of our merchandise. We have a podcast running on SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts. And of course, if you like this video, do us a favour, hit the subscribe button and help the channel grow. Games, horror and heavy metal, what else is life for?